founders are always nervous when they bring in investors. Yeah. And then they always want to know, how do we manage this? Because the interests are different. Sometimes, we might lose control. Somebody is driving an agenda, but you don't have any of those issues. Am I correct?
I mean, yes, absolutely. So in the case of Chennai Angels, even more so, you could argue, I mean, they were a minority stakeholder, so I didn't have to fret and fume as much. But today, if you think about it, we have TPG, which is one of the world's largest private equity fund managers. They manage over $110 billion. They own almost 3/4 of the firm from an equity standpoint. We never sweated about that. It is the value of the pie. It is about the value of the business that you're going to build, and about the nature of the partnership. My reason to give up significant control to TPG was simple. I need to not worry about raising capital anymore. And for me, capital, unlike any other business, is a raw material. The more money I put on the table, the more solar plants I own. So if it's such a key raw material, what's the point of going on a fundraise every few months and worrying about how much stake I own? I should get a partner with me who, of course, I'll still do the fundraising, but is there to stand good for any capital commitment that we need to do. Look, every entrepreneur will fight about valuation and stake. It is incorrect if you don't do that, and so did we. But I think the gap is usually about what they think we are going to achieve and what we think we are going to achieve. And hey, if we can have a formula by which there is a share, such that if I achieve what I achieve, you will compensate me. And think about it, why wouldn't an investor compensate you? If you give him a certain upside, there is no reason for him to not want to compensate you, and it should work. You should be in a position to find solutions. I no point trying to get too worked up on who owns majority in a company, or how much stake does the investor hold. And also bring in the money and the value before you may actually need it, right? So this is also something that we all talk about, but very tough to execute unless you're telling yourself, I need to execute. In a crisis like what we are in the middle of, and I cannot imagine a single business in the world whom it hasn't swept off the feet. Nobody could have made these scenarios. But even under such circumstance, I sleep well in the night because I have a great quality partner on board. I have money in the bank, and I know that this could be a great opportunity for me to leverage. I am not sweating anymore about it. I am now saying this is a great opportunity. I am now excited about this. Now, this comes about because you probably, a year and a half back, decided to dilute 3/4 of the firm and bring in $70 million. Now, did I need 70 million overnight? No, but I know that if I have that, I can do a lot with it, which is exactly how I think entrepreneurs should think.
Yeah, and you're not going to be scrambling around looking for money when you need it.
Correct.
It doesn't work that way.
It needs to be there. It needs to be there before and should be there. And again, I go back to sometimes, the industry where you operate also makes the context. If you circle back India, 2010, 2013, power was a bad word. I mean, you go into any bank and you tell them you're in the power sector, he'll ask you to get out of the branch. You tell him you're in this renewable energy solar sector, suna bhi nahi hai, bahar jao, So this is the way they would go about it at that point. So we felt here, after having done 2-3 years of hard work, the one thing we said is, let us shore up our capital so that we can now go to the banks and talk with respect. Said, you guys are worried about putting debt. Look, I've raised equity. So I'm not raising money from you with the promise that I will raise equity. I'm raising equity, and now you please put money in the bank. So we've always done that. Even today, when I build a solar plant, we build it with equity finance because we've raised that equity finance, and then we refinance it with project finance later on. Because then the bankers find it a lot easier. He touches and feels the asset. He sees the plant. He knows how much it is generating. Then he's giving us. We have always felt that, listen, who takes the most risk? Equity, guys. So we will then put equity capital for you upfront. We'll take that risk. Mr. Banker, you come and see it. Let us not make project finance assessment and then you sort of bring the rate, make some provisions for me which I don't want, and so on. I'll show you that the plant is working. Now you come and give me debt. And this has also worked very well for us. So we've been more conservative. I think, that's the one thing that Saif, who's my Guju partner, keeps saying, I've become a bloody Madrasi with you, is you made me far more conservative. But I think it is actually a misnomer that entrepreneurs are risk-taking. Actually, I believe entrepreneurs are always very conservative, especially in India, where most often you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back.